Hello everyone and welcome back to In Christ Alone. Today we'll be continuing our humbling hymn series with one of the most famous hymns we'll have. The hymn is called Amazing Grace. It was written by John Newton in 1779. Going into John's background, he started off in the Royal Navy and then moved on to be part of the Atlantic slave trade. He was a man that really liked to mess with people. While he was involved in the slave trade, he used to write poems and songs about the captain of the ship which he sailed on. Before his conversion, he used to make fun of Christians and say that God was a myth. Then on one voyage, just off the coast of County Donegal in Ireland, the ship he was sailing on got into a spot of bother. A storm had started and began to claim some of Newton's co-sailors' lives. In response, Newton prayed, "Lord, have mercy upon us." The ship eventually made it to its destination. The reason he called to the Lord was because he was reading a Christian book a few weeks prior called The Christian's Pattern and thought praying would be worth a go. The whole scenario left John wondering if he was worthy of God's grace after the way he acted in regards to God in the past. As years went on, he understood more and more that God's grace is for everyone, even for him. This is where the hymn comes from. Amazing Grace, written by John Newton. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved the wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found, was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear, the hour I first believed. Through many dangers, toils and snares, I have already come. 'Tis grace has brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home. The Lord has promised good to me, His word my hope secures. He will my shield and portion be, as long as life endures. Yet when this flesh and heart shall fail, and mortal life shall cease, I shall possess within the veil a life of joy and peace. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've no less days to sing God's praise than when we first begun. That was the hymn Amazing Grace. Just remember, no matter what you have done in the past, God will always forgive you for it. As Jesus said in John chapter 6 verse 37, "All those the Father gives me will come to me, and whoever comes to me I will never drive away." In the introduction, we learned that in his early days, John Newton didn't believe in God and even mocked those who did. God was able to turn his life around. He can also turn all our lives around, including yours, if we let him. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you next time here at In Christ Alone.